I didn't want to have to make this video, but there are so many dumb people that are out there on the internet. Holy man. Like, I was going to wait until after Christmas, long weekend, to assess the damage report when it came to Aquaman 2. Ultimately going, wow, I didn't make anything at the box office. How is it going to compare to the Marvels? But I got to go ahead and jump the gun because there are people that are screaming from the rooftops, okay? Claims of misogyny running wild, and well, we gotta point and laugh at them, right? 'Tis the season after all. Aquaman 2 surfs past $100 million in global bow. Wonka, still sweet, and Solar, I don't know about the rest of that stuff, okay? The only thing that I actually care about, well, tangentially care about, is Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom hit the high end of the pre-weekend projections overseas with $80 million in 73 markets. That's kind of crazy in the grand scheme of things. It made a lot of money. Now, in its opening weekend for the original, for Aquaman, it came out in 2018, it pulled in like just about $250 million, buttressed quite a bit by China. So $80 million in today's climate, not all that bad. The James Wan directed sequel is at an estimated $107.7 million through Sunday worldwide, with a Monday domestic estimate that it'll hit $120 million, which is, I think, probably far and away. Like I said, it hit the high end of projections, and we looked at that a couple of days ago, yesterday, or maybe even the day before, looking at the full data set available. What was it, between 27 and $40 million for the 3-day, and then the extended, it was looking at like 60 or something like that, talking domestically, and well, looks like it's going to clear that by quite a bit. I'm not rooting for this film. I just find it very curious, very, very curious, because here's the big thing. Okay, for the like-for-like markets and using today's exchange rates, Aquaman 2 is tracking 14% ahead of Black Adam, which is the high watermark for this phase of the DCEU, 22% above The Flash, which is probably good, and 42% over the Marvels. That right there is why everyone, I'm telling you guys, everyone is losing their mind, both critically and financially. Aquaman 2 is performing noticeably worse than the Marvels. Noticeably worse? Okay, well, like I've shown these screens before, and I said take it with a bucket of salt, okay? Because Rotten Tomato scores really don't mean anything. 30%, and what was it? Like, I think it's 26% top critics, and 78 and 64 for audience score. So realistically, man, okay, like maybe you're getting a fair assessment of stuff, and yeah, that's 61% that hasn't moved at all for the Marvels. Totally agree with that one. And then the 83% audience rating. Listen, I've heard a fair few reviews from both of these films right here. Nobody has anything at all good to say about the Marvels outside of the fact that, well, at least it's the shortest Marvel film. It's come out in phase 4 and phase 3 phase 4 and phase 5, and even I think throughout the totality of the MCU. So at least you have that one saving grace. But as for the film, the script, the characters, nobody likes anything. At least when it comes to Aquaman 2. Okay, people are giving it up for Orm a little bit. Okay, here's some good things about him. The villain, Black Manta, here's some decent things about the villain. Okay, Jason Momoa, generally likable, but outside of that, not a whole hell of a lot going for it in comparison to Marvel's, where you had the villain. Do you even remember? It's been a second since we've talked in depth about the Marvels. Do you remember what the name of the villain was? I do. I'm just asking, okay? Does anybody remember? Okay, old Lincoln Logmouth, okay? The fiancé of Tom Hiddleston. I'm sure she got that job on merit. Oh, for sure. Okay, it's just the nice, stepmom that brings cookies for the 4th grade class. Okay, yeah, she's gonna be the one to take down the most powerful triumvirate of heroes the Marvel Cinematic Universe has ever seen. Nobody cares about that film, man. Nobody cares about it right now. I believe these numbers as much as I believe the Aquaman numbers, but like I said, Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom swimming towards $100 million. We see it right now. Looks like, for the long weekend, it's going to end up eclipsing that. But these are supposed to be comparisons. This is supposed to be funny. The Marvel's a miss with a $110 million global opening. But you remember, okay, very important things about this. The Marvels has a $300 million confirmed budget. At least what they're reporting, $250 million, okay? Aquaman 2, Probably has the same amount of, behind the scenes confirmed budget, something that we won't see for a little while, of north of $300 million, given the fact that both of these films were basically filmed along the exact same guidelines. And as is pointed out here, they're both sequels to billion-dollar blockbusters, and yet I don't see any hit pieces from the trades when it comes to the movie starring a man. The math ain't mathing. Yes, guys, misogyny. It has nothing to do with the fact that it was a verifiable flop. Like, it had open runway. Dune 2, its biggest competition, or at least what would have been the biggest competition, got cleared directly out of the way. And what was it? The biggest obstacle for it to overcome, it ended up coming up to it, okay? Instead of crossing it, fell flat on its face in Hunger Games, and faded into obscurity, and is now pulling mid 5 digits at the 200 remaining screens that it has in under a month and a half. 6 weeks into its release, and Nobody can even see this anymore. It's going to get buried, but I'm sure that there will probably be for as many hit pieces that have been out there. Variety puts out 20 different articles. Could you imagine? Could you imagine being so beholden to these industry rags that you need to go ahead and get your validation from these authoritative sources? That must be a really shitty existence. But hey, we here now, bro. The numbers, though, okay, for the math ain't mathin' crew and the simple misogyny crew. Here's the thing. Aquaman's doing what it's doing. If you recall, the movie has earned a 3-a-day domestic total of $47 million and worldwide $110 million. This was a projection, right? Because this ended up coming out on the Sunday before the actuals came out, which we're not going to see the actuals for Aquaman until Tuesday, maybe Wednesday or something like that. Probably Tuesday, though. Probably Tuesday. But when all the receipts came in, the actuals were $109 million opening weekend, and in those, succeeding weeks, it only gained another $100 million, which is absolutely hilarious. No less, because it just crossed $200 million. That's so funny. That is so funny. Like I said before, it had no competition. Zero competition. And you did nothing. You did nothing. At least Aquaman 2 has a running buddy. It actually has several running buddies in Iron Claw for a different audience, Migration, an Illumination film that's going to have its fan base out there, and then Wonka, of course. So, okay. Marvel getting its, getting its final send-off for 2023, capstoning. It's a failure of a year. Categoric failure. The only thing that barely turned a profit was Guardians of the Galaxy 3, but all of its gains were immediately washed out by, go ahead, take your pick, Indiana Jones, The Marvels, Ant-Man and the Wasp, and Quantumania, Little Mermaid, Elemental, Wish, go ahead, take your pick. Any single one of them cost you more than Guardians ended up making. So are they going to go ahead, sit down, really reassess what didn't work for you? Okay, what was so toxic to the box office for the once normie audience to just go ahead and see Disney, associate it with quality, and slap down the money for the ticket or tickets? What turned them off? What turned them off, and what was prominently emboldened in the Marvels? I don't even need to go my whole woman team arc. No. It was characters that didn't have any character. Poorly written, poorly introduced. Nobody knows the source material. Let's keep it a buck outside of those Wikipedia wonders that are out there. No, I love Carol Danvers. She's the best Captain Marvel that there's ever been. I love the fact that she used to be a United States fighter pilot. She was really great. Did you know that the original Captain Marvel was actually a guy named Marvel? That's so crazy. He was in the original Captain Marvel. It was a cameo appearance, and the original Captain Marvel was portrayed by Annette Bening. It's close. It makes sense, right? Just like a female Silver Surfer is totally going to make sense. Anyways, and that's the most fleshed out, well-rounded character. But then you have Ms. Marvel. She had an entire show. Nobody watched it. What's so special about her? Oh, she might be a mutant now. Fantastic. Okay, what about Photon? Nope, that wasn't her name in the film. Binary? No, that wasn't her name in the film either. It could be anything really, but it's Monica Rambeau. And does everybody remember her first appearance back in 2021? No, exactly. They have a character problem over at Marvel, because they could go ahead and gloss over the fact that their writing, for the most part, wasn't really up to snuff outside of several, or rather a few notable exceptions with like the first Iron Man and the Avengers, most of the time, those wafer-thin plots, those origin stories, they were buttressed by exceptionally good character development. You could argue that it was very poorly placed, but Black Widow had her own film at a time when nobody really wanted that film. But the best film that she was ever in was Avengers 2012. You knew everything from that first scene, okay, where she's tied up on the chair, takes a phone call when she's out there searching for Bruce Banner, the Incredible Hulk. That told you everything that you needed to know about the character. So no, that's just the layman's interpretation of what they need to do in order to go ahead and course correct. But what are they doing? No. Just doubling down, guys, because we have a bunch of women, and we are going to go ahead and we're going to make the Young Avengers. I guess we know what's going to end up happening with the old repurposed Kang Dynasty Avengers. It's going to be the Young Avengers. Oh, I know that it's just a rumor, right? It's just a rumor, but they are dumb enough to do this. Check this out. The Young Avengers film is reportedly in the works at Marvel Studios. The group will consist of Kamala Khan, all right, obviously, Ms. Marvel, that makes sense, Kate Bishop, Cassie Lang, America Chavez, and Billy and Tommy Maximoff. Well, they don't exist, so that's going to be strange. Other potential members include Ironheart. Well, don't worry, you'll be able to see her TV series, which is done, but it's going to be going for extensive reshoots in 2024. They aren't learning a goddamn thing, and it won't release until 2025. Maybe, potentially. Hulk King? That one I'm not familiar with, okay? Axel Heimdallson. Oh, if you remember, Thor Love and Thunder, that awful bit of CGI, okay, the world's worst green screened head that came onto your screen, it's going to be Black Teenage Thor. Fantastic. Eli Bradley and, Scar, who had that beautiful lineup right there at the end of She-Hulk. Oh my God. If you thought, and I was optimistic, maybe a little bit, okay, so throw myself into that category. If you thought there was a hope in hell that Disney was going to take 2024 to really reassess what is going on, change up the formula a little bit, try as they might in order to turn a profit whenever they have a full schedule of content to release, absolutely not. It's definitely not going to be happening. But hey, in the realm of content creation, news like this is fantastic because job security, it's hard to come by. So with all that said, thank you all very much for the gift of your time. I've been Don Consuelo. I want you to follow your gut and get after it. Take care, everyone.